CJ, man, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing great. I mean, it's rare to have a day like this in England, mate.
It's nice.
But enjoy while we still have it, innit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be here for long, you know?
Yeah. Rain is coming in an hour's time. Trust me.
Probably, yeah.
Trust me.
No, in London.
How do you even travel in this weather, mate? Especially in the London Underground. For those who don't live in London or the UK,
Yes.
what is it like to travel on the underground in the sunshine?
Bro, I don't know, for me, it's just like, it makes me realize I really don't want to go to hell.
So basically what you're saying is, if you're saying go to hell, go to the London Underground in the summer.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But we're not in the underground. We're out here in the over the underground, enjoying the beautiful weather, sunshine. Got a little Fanta there, ain't you, mate? What Fanta we got?
The best Fanta orange.
I
like Fanta fruit twist too.
We ain't got the Nigerian one.
You see, we would have been on a big bottle team.
Niger one. The Niger. It's better.
I don't know. We're in Pinner, so we get what we get in it.
Yeah. But CJ, how we doing?
I'm well, man. I'm good. I'm blessed.
Huh?
I'm enjoying the weather.
Yeah.
Good day.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling very relaxed today.
Yeah. Did you do the cornrows recently?
Nah. It wasn't me, man. It wasn't my amazing stylist, Malaka. She's amazing.
No, but did you do it recently?
Oh, no, I did it recently. Yeah, I did it about a month ago. This is a new style.
Yeah.
For me, so
Trying it. Trying to be a R&B artist out here. Which is a perfect segue. What does it mean? I'm serious. No, what does it mean to the R&B space? Where is it like? What do you think a Christian can offer in that space?
The R&B space is definitely has a lot to give, you know? And I feel like a lot of artists, there's a space for it. You know, I feel like we've got Afro, and I think that's very cemented within our industry. And we've got rap, but I feel like R&B is a genre that hasn't really been dominated yet. So I feel like there's so much to do, especially for guys. For like male R&B singers, like, you know, we need gospel ushers, gospel Chris Browns, gospel Trey songs.
Just be gospel you, bro. We need to be original, don't you think? I think that's how I say it. I mean, you just be you. You just be you, bro. Yeah. You don't need to be nobody else.
No, I agree. No,
I like CJ for CJ. I don't compare you to nobody.
Amen.
I think originality is the best innovation. 100%. But yeah, R&B. I mean, let's think about R&B for instance. Like, would it be? It's maybe the R&B in the charts, but back in the day it was all about love, and now it's all about
other things.
It's about other things. Why that trajectory?
Why do you think that R&B's gone that way?
Yeah, it's not that deep. It's not about love anymore. I mean, you see even in the grammar what the 90s R&B kind of love.
I feel like it's just lost a lot of substance, and I think that it's because I think music on a whole, mainstream music, has lost a lot of substance, which is why I believe gospel artists and positive artists can provide that gap and bring it back 100% and bring messages of love in a really wholesome way. Because I feel like love in Christ, whether that is kingdom love in terms of friendship, whether that's marriage, whether that's even with God and with us as his children, is something that is really important to talk about. And I feel like if there was an alternative where people talked about love in a wholesome way that it used to be, it would be so great. So yeah, I think there's definitely a need for it. Nowadays, yeah, 100%, unfortunately. And I think it's just because it's lost its authenticity. And it's become very much like all mainstream music, which promotes things that cater to all of this physical thing here, you know, money, pride, success, all that stuff, but not to our souls and spirits.
So I just met you on the weekend, actually, didn't I? You keep following me, innit? I bet you on the weekend. But anyway, serious note, BFTK. Tell us about BFTK. For those that don't know, what's that event and how did you? Yes. You were featured there. You've been a feature quite regularly in the past. So tell us what's Blast for the Kingdom and tell us
more about it. I would say Blast for the
it.
Kingdom is the official I would say yearly Christian urban music space. You know, urban music concert, urban music festival, urban music gathering. Set up by my boy Rev J. Shout out to Rev J. And it's like, bringing all different genres together. Afro, hip hop, rap, drill, dancehall now. You know, Devon Ball did amazing dancehall, gospel dancehall, and then R&B and a lot of things like that. So it brings all the urban, commercial, gospel sounds together. And the idea is to bring to bring young people into God's presence. So I've always loved it. And the reason why I've been part of it every single year is because you see young people come to Christ. You see young people find new music that's beneficial to their spirit. And I feel like it's just a great space.
So do you think people beat themselves up?
Definitely. And I feel like for myself personally, I spent a long time being insecure, feeling, frustrated, feeling I wasn't enough, feeling I couldn't find belonging. But then, Jesus really helped me to find that. And he gave me that sense of identity. So I want to help other people find their identity too. So whenever I share, it's something that God has said to me first, or something that I've said to myself first. And then I relate that to others.
Kind of reminds me of the scripture Paul wrote in, I think, Second Corinthians. So we comfort others with the comfort that we receive. In other words, the way Paul saw it is like it's not just my comfort, it's not just mine for me, it's just to share it with others. And yeah, that's beautiful, man. Sometimes people need to hear encouragement. Sometimes we do beat ourselves up. So let's get a bit to your story, mate. According to your bio, you went to Brit school, right? So what was that like?
Amazing. Brit School is an incredible space. Shout out to Brit School. Please support them. They're trying to raise funds towards continuing the work that they do. I wouldn't be the person I was there without Brit. Brit gave me so much foundations as an artist, as a creative, as a person. So I feel like Brit was an amazing space, and I think also being a believer in Brit really was a blessing. I was able to bring like a lot of myself and what I had to bring, and it helped me find my identity and my walk with God, like in a creative space. I feel like that's where I really found a lot of foundations of me.
Yeah. And what was it like? Tell us a bit more. So you were a Christian when you were there. So what was it like?
Um, what was it like as a new Christian?
What does it like being a witness?
100%. I think in the creative industry, it teaches you how to be authentic. I feel like creativity is all about being yourself, right? And then a lot of times, sometimes we place our identity in our race, or we place our identity in what we can do or what we have. But what it taught me was like, where do I find my sense of identity from? Do I find it in my gifts? Do I find it in my culture? Do I find it in, what I do? But I had to find a sense of my identity is found in my faith with God. And I just think it taught me a lot about how it's all about being yourself and authentically you in those spaces. When you're trying to be a witness, it's not about forcing conversations about Jesus just for the sake of it. It's not just about throwing it down people's throats, because that doesn't work. It's all about conversations. It's all about listening. It's all about understanding. And I always seek first to be understood, first to understand, then to be understood. So in that space, it just taught me how to, unapologetically be CJ, and unapologetically love God, and unapologetically do my gift my way. There's only one me. I think in the creative industry, it's so easy to be a copycat, to just jump in on what everyone else is doing, to be trendy, to be relevant. But I just learned to be me, and I want to continue to be who God's called me to be. So I had to stand firm to who I was.
Cool. So they trained you to dance, to sing, and what else?
To act. And the big thing about do is I act. I think acting is my main thing. So music is a big part of who I am, but I also present, act, and things like that. So I definitely want to lean into the acting space, definitely, in a commercial sense. I really want to do film. I feel like that we need more lights in those spaces in film. We need more stories of hope in those spaces. And also presenting, like I want to be able to be a personality or a brand that represents God. I feel like more kingdom brands are important.
You already started doing that. I mean, tell us about your work with A Step Forward.
Big up Step Forward, because O'Neill, Dennis, the whole team, Hannah, Judah, everybody. I love you guys, your family. Step Forward. I've been a presenter for them for many years. Also been an ambassador. I love what the Step Forward do, the way they put on the gospel industry. I wouldn't know about the gospel industry if it wasn't for Step Forward. They like really put me into that space, taught me so much about the industry, and it's allowed me to go into like Apprentice Nation, which is a mainstream space where I'm able to also represent myself in the mainstream entertainment industry. So I feel like A Step Forward has opened so many doors in so many ways, and I think everything I've done, I'm so grateful I've been able to be a blessing to the gospel community, to the church community, to the kingdom community, but also to the mainstream community, to the secular community as well. I feel like we're called to be a blessing to everyone, and everyone deserves an opportunity to be giving that hope and that light and that joy, you know? So yeah, I've been able to authentically be myself, and I think Step Forward helped me again find my voice, because I think a big part of me is not just my music, but who I am as a person. And I love that people follow CJ, not for the music really, mostly, but for me. And I love that they, for who I am, what I have to say, and people rock with that, you know?
So you mentioned Apprentice Nation. For those that don't know, who are they?
So Apprentice Nation, they do work with young people in their careers and advancement of their development in whatever, and usually in regards to apprenticeships or internships in whatever field they want to do. So, but they use this through music events. So we've put on quite a few events with Stefflon Don, Heady One, Kojo Radical, some amazing artists like that.
But if you allow me, let's get a little bit personal now. You've also talked about, you discussed at length in social media and other places about yourself with Aspergers. First of all, for those that don't know, give us a definition of what Aspergers is, mate.
Cool. So Aspergers syndrome also stands for high functioning autism. It is a type of neurodiversity, previously called a disability, neurological disability, whereby you think differently to others. Your brain works differently. So the electrons and neutrons act differently. The connections are different, and certain parts of your brain in terms of activity are different. So your sensitivities can be different, senses can be different, and also like your amygdala, which is a part of your emotions, your awareness, your understanding of the world, can either be very small, whereby you can come across insensitive or not understanding or not aware, or you can come across with a bigger amygdala, quite disorientated, highly affected, highly sensitive, and you can struggle a lot with anxiety, depression, feelings of unsafety. So I've definitely on the latter. I've struggled with that a lot. I didn't speak till I was 4 years old, and my mum didn't really know what was going on. And when I was growing up back in 2000s, autism wasn't really as diagnosed as it is now. I think like before then, my brother has dyslexia, so even when he was growing up in the 90s, it was just kind of like, what's going on? I don't understand this. So now we have more diagnosis of ADHD and autism, and actually being neurotypical, which means you think the same, is different. Is actually a minority. Majority of people have neurodiversity now, as the years have gone on, especially this generation. The generation is below me as well. So yeah, that's a bit about autism.
Where is your life working? Because you work with a lot of people. What does it look like in interactions and personal interactions?
Yeah, it can be hard with friendships. I think sometimes understanding the social cues and the social, just the social aspects of friendships can be hard, because there's certain like expectations that I might not understand. There might be certain, just being consistent, and friends understanding why I do certain things I do, or why I don't understand if they're upset, or if I've done something like that may have made them feel a type of way. Maybe with, especially when it comes to communication, sometimes I can be quite slow. I can be forgetful, a bit disorganized. So I think sometimes I can come across as I don't care, or I'm just rude, or whatever it might be. But it's never like that. It's because I'm never intentionally trying to come across that way. And then with romantically as well, it can be a challenge, especially understanding someone else's feelings, my own feelings. And then in my family and context as well, like my mum found it quite hard growing up, because she had to explain everything to me. As for, usually you don't have to. People generalize, they learn, they grow. My brain doesn't. It's a bit slower. I process a bit slower than everyone else's. So, yeah.
So, but I have to say, in my interactions, I have to say, like, you're a very nice guy, you're friendly, you're creative, you're encouraging. So, what would you say to somebody who has some setbacks, and how you have to overcome that? Because for you, you're shining, you're going for your goals. So, what gives you that drive? I'd say to kind of go for things despite the setbacks. Because we all have setbacks, as different as they are, and we all have things that we have to deal with in our personal lives. But why encourage you to still go for what God has called you to do?
An incredible question. I would say just own it. Own your struggle. Give it to God. Be open about it. I think I never really was open about my autism until I was 21. I just really tried to suppress it for such a long time. And I realized that's not It's not helpful to myself, not helpful to others. And actually, it's dishonoring to God, because God has made me, I believe God has made me this way for a reason. I feel like I'm different, I'm special for a purpose. It's not because, because no one else thinks like me. I've got a very blessed, mind that's different, I think. And in terms of, with autism, people understand is that when you find your thing, your gift, you're excellent. So, some of the most smartest people on the planet have a difference, Look at people like Newton, Isaac Newton, and Einstein, and all these really, really smart people. They had like differences, man. They were either dyslexic, like ADHD. Like in school, they were called, the strange kids, but actually it's because their brains worked so much quicker. The greatest physicists, the greatest musicians tend to be people that have some sort of neurodiversity. So now I've become a champion of it. And as I've leaned more into what it is, I realized that, wow, like this is a gift. And the greatest people on the planet have this. So I'm going to own it. And
basically, you're a genius. That's what you're trying to say.
that's
Creative genius.
That's what I feel. And it's not even with an ego thing, but like, that's God's gift to me. That's where I'm going to flourish and be able to be a blessing. And also I would say to someone, like, beyond that as well, just believe in yourself that you can achieve anything. You can be a high achiever and still have struggles. And actually, sometimes your struggle allows you to go higher. I think if I didn't have setbacks in my life, I didn't have those struggles I've dealt with, I wouldn't be a high achiever now. I feel like it's pushed me further, because in school, my teacher said I wouldn't amount to anything. I would fail everything. Yeah, all my teachers told me. Yeah, my teachers weren't great. All my secondary school teachers said this kid is, naughty, misbehaves. It's not getting anywhere. I mean, I wasn't a great student, I'm honest. I was naughty, but they said to me I wouldn't get anywhere. I would fail. What did they know now? And a lot of people have said to me in my life, whether it be school, whether it be, men, like older figures, have always said to me that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not good enough. And I've just been like, nah, that whatever Jesus says about me is what's true. Whatever people say, that's your identity, facts. So that's what I would say, like, believe what God says about you, because that's the only opinion that really matters.
So let's get into music. I actually realized, I don't know if anyone has pointed out in an interview, that you actually call yourself Saint CJ.
Yes.
What do you insert saint in that? Because we're all saints, but you actually overtly say I am saint.
Yeah. It's an identity thing for me again. Like, I once was a sinner, but now I have a new identity. I'm a child of God. I'm a saint. I'm a chosen. Saint means to be called out for his purpose. And I believe that's what I'm called to do. I'm called to bring other people into, their identity as saints. When I hear, believers say that I'm a sinner, I'm like, no, you're not. No, that's not your identity. You're no longer a sinner. Just because you sin doesn't mean you're a sinner. Your new identity is saint. You're a child of God. You have a new identity. So that's what I live by, man. I'm a saint. Like, I'm not the same person I used to be.
So as well as a solo artist, also part of the spiritual choir.
Yes.
Wade in the water, we did. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God said He's gonna jump in the water. Wade in the water, we did. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna jump in the water. We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go. Wade in the water, we did. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water.
How did that choir come about?
So I'm quite new to the choir. I've been in the choir for probably about a year now. But they came about through an incredible team called Junior Gar, incredible worship leader.
I've heard a couple albums from him actually.
Yeah. Junior Gar's big, man.
I remember back in the day he was doing a album launch of Ruan. Is it still existing? I need to have a look.
Obviously, incredible Junior Gar. Because of the Black Lives Matter movement and George Floyd. They wanted to provide a voice, for injustice that was from the kingdom. And then Marsha Morrison, who's an incredible choir director with the Kingdom Choir, just came in, and the rest was magic, man. And I was very blessed that I knew a lot of people that were in the choir, like Niella. Niella actually, at one point, was my vocal coach. And then, a lot of the other members of the team, like Kay Marie being one of them as well. So I just, auditioned in January. And then I was blessed enough that they wanted me to be involved. And I've been very grateful to be a part of it. I wasn't in that original video. No. I wasn't in there. Now, at the time I was in Get Up Stand Up. I was in Bob Marley. So I wasn't invited for it. You saw it? When did you see it?
I saw the play, but you weren't in it.
When did you see it? What month?
I think it was winter time last year, mate.
Winter last year? Winter last year?
Yeah, winter last year.
No, I was in it then.
Maybe
what, 2022?
Yeah.
What? Like November, December? All right, so so this is a big thing. Okay, cool. Do you remember the boy that played Bob when he was a teenager?
Yeah.
And he was light skinned?
Yeah.
And he had a broom?
Is that you?
That was me.
It was a brilliant play.
That was me, bro. Yeah.
Just down the road from me.
Crazy. Yeah, you saw me in the show, bro.
I had a job in there's a company I really worked, really lovely job. Big us for Muff. They had the office in Covent Garden.
Yeah. Wow.
So I saw that, right?
Yeah, you saw me in the play, bro.
Wow.
It was a great
You're
play.
not a jack of all trades and a master of none. You're a jack of all trades and you're doing well in all of them.
Well, that it's funny. There's that phrase that, because a lot of people say, CJ, why do you do so many things? And I used to always be told you can't do more than one thing. Jack of all trades, master of none. That phrase. But no one ever reads it in context, because the actual full phrase says, jack of all trades, master of none, which is true. You can't do everything. But jack of more than one trade is better than a jack of one. So basically it's saying you can't do everything, but if you do more than one thing, you're an asset. So that's when I said, the fact that I'm multi-talented and multifaceted means I'll have multiple streams of income, multiple opportunities, and I'll have multiple ways of development. So that's why I stay, in collective, spiritual, as a solo artist, because I feel like, why limit myself and my gift?
So let's get to the dancing. Is it like football? Is it like football where you have to practice?
Oh, big time, yeah. Dancing is work, training, hard, consistent. Yeah, man. I'm trying to train more. I go to classes, and I do train and I lab at home a lot. I watch videos. I study videos. Like I study, Chris Brown's music videos. I study Michael Jackson's. I study these videos to learn how to move like that. Defo.
And what kind of dancing are you trying to specialize in?
I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to be like dope. I'm trying to, have full sets and shows. Like in my headline, I did quite a few dance routines, but I'm trying to do full on sets.
So if you're doing all this stuff, when does you have the time just to be, just to take a break? Because it looks like your timetable, studio singing, and then I'm presenting, and then I'm doing this and I'm doing that. When does CJ take a break? Does CJ even take a break?
I do. I always make sure that, I take time to spend with friends. I take time to rest. I rest in different ways. I rest by seeing people I love, and I feel like that helps me rest. I also sometimes I just sit in bed and sleep, and I love that. That's why I always, make sure that my day doesn't start too early, because I like to sleep and then rest. And also I make sure to Sabbath every week. I've got a book all about rest and Sabbathing, because I used to, work, and then I'd work myself to the bone, and I never want to do that again. I always want to make me feel like I'm full and I'm good. And every when I feel myself getting tired, I take time off. So even, Friday, I have a gig in the evening, but during the day I'm doing nothing. Today I'm going to a worship night later on. So I'm resting in different ways of just finding tranquility to find peace, man. And then also Sundays at church are good, because I do some things in my church, but not a lot, because I do a lot already out. I do a worship team, maybe once a month, serve on my worship team. But then usually I go to church and I just receive. I receive, and then I will serve when I can, but I receive. I always I make so much sure to make time to receive. Because when you're pouring, you need time to receive too.